You know, one would have thought that after, 40-something years in this business, he would have learned that you can't do a program unless you put on your microphone, huh? Well, he finally did. Better late than never. My dear friends, very good morning and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Gudday Grenada. I'm George Grant on this, the 17th day of December. And it's a gorgeous morning here. One medium-sized cruise ship in town this morning, tied up at Melville Street. And I'm glad to see that you guys are already up and about. We'll get to you in just a wee bit. First, let's take a look at the rundown. And the rundown this morning, it's going to be very simple. Very, very simple. Nothing special for you other than the visit from a good friend, Ray Roberts. Tell you about him in just a wee bit. But we're going to talk a little bit about this morning about something I've been bugging you guys about for the past few days. I have asked you to do an assignment, and you guys brought this on by referring to this little gathering here as a class and calling me teacher and professor and all of that. Well, you'll see what that has led to. We also have the national report for you this morning, as always. And then Ray Roberts. Now, Ray, you will see Ray and you will hear from Ray this morning, as we normally do on a Tuesday morning, but he's not going to be in here. I received a WhatsApp from him just a wee bit ago, and he's going to be joining us on that big screen there electronically this morning. All right? Now, starting sometime last week, I began asking you folks to think of something good, something really good that has happened to you over the past year. All right? And it was, I guess you might describe it as an assignment, class assignment. Because starting tomorrow, pilgrims, starting tomorrow, I would like to hear from you something good that has happened to you in 2019. All right? Certainly hope that you have used the time to make some notes. Because it's a very simple, but very, very important exercise. You know, Grenada has been through some very, very challenging times over the past year. Seems like it's been a lot more than a year. But I would like us to begin the new year on a high note, so that, you know, when we look back towards the end of this year, we'll say, hey, you know, despite everything, some good things happened. Yeah? Yeah, because the truth of the matter is, despite all the mess and shenanigans going on in this place, there are good things that have happened. You need to acknowledge those as well. So, let me say that, I'm going to be honest with you. If you come into the classroom without something to tell us about that's happened to you this year, You know the rules around here. You'd better have a note signed by no less a person than your mom. Don't get a teacher or one of your friends, your brother, your sister, your neighbor. It's got to be signed by your mom. And if you don't, Mags, you know Mags? She will put you to stand in the corner and wrap your knuckles as well. You've had a whole week to think about it. A whole week to think about it. So, today's your last day. You got until this time tomorrow morning to tell us about something good. And once again, don't walk into the classroom tomorrow with excuses such as, "Teacher, my dog ate the homework." Nah, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. I haven't checked on her yet, but I'm sure she's there already. And if I know her as well as I think I do, I'm sure that she already has her little notebook out, even though she's not going to need it until tomorrow, making notes to see who failed to do their exercise. All right? Yeah. Let me turn now to social media. Hey, well, congratulations, Miss Rello. Anthea Rello is first up this morning, and she's nosed out, Hazel. Benedict Cador says, "Terrific Tuesday. Yeah, man, Benedict." And boy, it's a beautiful morning out there this morning, just beautiful. Rachel John saying, "Good morning, everyone." T.F. Richards, hey, T.F. is on the road, but this morning, where was he? He was in Indiana yesterday. This morning he's in Maryland, getting all over the United States. You know, and I don't envy you having to drive in the snow that you were having yesterday and all of that, but boy, what a lifestyle, you know, to be seeing pretty much the whole of the United States. Yeah. I like looking at landscapes. And I remember when I was living in Canada, I spent a lot of money on photography. A lot of it, most of it, from the air. I used to fly around the countryside out there in Ontario, ching, 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 taking pictures all the way. And I'll tell you, for those of you who have not been through the Rockies, wow, if an opportunity ever arises, don't you miss it. Don't you miss it. Another really, really nice place, especially in the autumn, the Poconos in Pennsylvania. Beautiful, beautiful landscape. I'm sure there are probably places nicer, but I really enjoyed the landscape in the Poconos. Beautiful, beautiful country. So, have a good trip in Maryland there, TF. Fitzroy Adams is saying good morning. Mickaman Alexander. Oswin Lewis is saying hi to you guys as well. Veronica Sandy sending blessings to everybody. Thank you so much, Veronica. Yeah, she is there. Margaret saying, "Good day, folks." Yeah, believe me, she's got her pencil sharpened. Arthur Langine is in Brooklyn saying good morning. Good to see you, Arthur. Claude Pudna says, good morning. It's a bright and Tuesday. Yeah, it's a bright and Tuesday morning. Yes, it is, Claude. Sean, hello there, Sean. Saw a little note there from you this morning. Thank you very much. Kipling Francis is saying good morning. Hey, have I seen this one before? Sherilyn Sunshine Hitlal. Hope I'm pronouncing the last name properly. She says, I need your frequency number, please, for radio. Well, Sherilyn, oh my goodness, Sherilyn, where have you been, my dear? Sherilyn, the radio station has been off the air since the 30th of April last year. Yeah, 30th of April. So you're not going to hear us on the radio, at least not for the time being, not for the next little while, okay? Until things change around here in Grenada. But you can get us right where you are right now on Facebook, Grenada Broadcast Facebook/Grenada Broadcast. If you miss us here, once the program is over, not only will it be up on Facebook, we're also going to stick it up there on YouTube. And I see more and more of you people are joining us on YouTube these days, and that's very good, very encouraging. Thank you. And for those of you who don't really want to have anything to do with social media, hey, check us out on the GRENADABROADCAST.com website. That website's been up for, well, about 15 years. Would you believe that at the end of January, it's just a little over a month from now, the Sunday program that we've been doing, that's where it all started. That Sunday program will have completed 15 years. Yeah? Because of you guys. And there were a lot more who came long before you. But yeah, we're getting old. Starting to grow a mustache and a beard and all of that in 15 years. So thank you very much. God bless you. Dave Bertrand saying good morning. Bradley Vespre. Bradley, where's your wife this morning? You saying good morning. Veronica Sandy saying Mama Mags. Yeah, Veronica, you got her pegged, girl. Mags is like a mom in this classroom on this forum. We do appreciate her. Susan Augustine is saying good morning to beautiful Grenada from a rainy and cold London. You guys are settling down after your election? What are all those raindrops about? Tears of joy or tears of sadness? Huh? I do hope that things eventually work out for the British people. Ryan Jabon says, good morning. It's 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. I wonder if it's that warm down here. He says there's a misty fog lifting in Orlando this morning, and he's out riding his bicycle. Don't you run off the road. There she is. Carlene Vespre is saying good morning. TF says wet and foggy, but he's making it. Oh, at least yesterday you had snow. This morning it's wet and foggy. I guess that will wash away some of the snow. John, hello there, John. Saying good morning, gang, from a very windy D1. D1, just in case you didn't know, is dependency number 1. And just in case you didn't know, that's Kayaku. And Anthea is saying Bradley Vespre. Hello there, how are you? Oh, okay, so I guess Anthea knows the Vespres. And here he is, Anthony. I hope you checked this out this week, Anthony. We ran one of your pieces, the one on Mount Pandy. And I don't know if you heard what I mentioned yesterday, but in that piece you did, there's a little segment where there's a picture of a boat on the horizon. That was actually a cabin cruiser, one of those mega yachts that hang out here at this time of the year. I think it was yesterday afternoon. On my way downtown, I saw a couple more of those. They're starting to come back, yeah. It's that time of the year again. Okay, so there you have it. That's a little informal good morning to you. And right now, let's take a little break, and we shall return with The National Report.
GRENLEC continues to celebrate 25 years of partnership and growth. So this December, we're giving every customer the chance to spin and win. Just pay your bill in full on or before December 18th. Then, on Wednesday, December 18th, join us at any GRENLEC customer care location. Spin to win giveaways that will make this season even more festive. Hams, groceries, gift vouchers, wine, electricity vouchers, and more. Join the celebration. December 18th, spin and win with GRENLEC. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Welcome home.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Because your vehicle is a necessity, being roadworthy is critical. Hubbard's Motor Department introduces its new tire and battery sales and service outlet located at Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, close to the Sugar Mill Roundabout. Available are a wide range of competitively priced tires, maintenance-free batteries, oils and lubricants. Keeping in mind your busy schedule, this outlet is equipped to provide you with fast and reliable service. Simply drive in and you'll be delighted with your service experience. For more information, contact 440-2087. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
India High Commissioner Designate says more benefits are in store for Grenada as relationships are improved. Details of this story and more in the National Report. Welcome back with the details to the news for Monday, December 16th, 2019. I am Sherry-Ann Noel. The Indian High Commissioner Designate to Grenada, His Excellency Arun Kumar Sahu, on Monday made a courtesy call on Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell and Foreign Affairs Minister Honourable Peter David. His Excellency Sahu, in speaking with GIS, says Grenada is one of India's strongest partners in the Caribbean and there is a potential to foster greater relationship.
That is the reason that I am more interested to understand what more we can do in terms of various projects in terms of skill building, in terms of implementation of some of the information technology projects and people to people contact. We have also Grenada has its own history. Okay. Of you have spice, coke, and we are, as you know, one of the biggest spice producing countries.
There are a number of projects already implemented in Grenada with funding from India, and reference was made to the Information Technology Building Project.
Under India's economic and trade partnership agenda, and that is to skill youngsters and professionals to in information technology, and then make them more productive in the new changing information technology world. And that is one. There is a community center which is going on, which is about to be completed.
Okay.
There are some road projects which have been completed, and there are some more which we were looking at, in the process of bringing in. We are also looking at experts in civil engineering and construction who can give their expertise to help here the investors, essentially help the government functionaries to know how projects go, how civil constructions are done, what are the things that you should be mindful of when all those. So all those things are going on, and there is much more which we are discussing now.
Higher education is another area in which he believes more opportunities can be derived for Grenadians through the India-Grenada relationship.
You can do certificate, you can do undergraduate, you can do a research program, graduate course. It's up to you, but it's all
The options are there.
options are there. So I would urge actually students and professionals from Grenada to look at those things also. And besides this, of course, as you know, the iTech scholarships are already in offer, and those who have, in addition to that, those who have contacts, or let's say ancestry relationship with India, those of Indian descent, from any line, from father's line or mother's line, all those who have ancestry relation with India, they also are eligible for something called No India program.
Moving along, Anderson Peters returned home to a fitting welcome on Sunday evening by government officials, members of the Olympic Committee, Athletics Association and family. Anderson on October 6th won the javelin, adding to the country's gold medal count at the World Championships. Anderson is a junior at the Mississippi State. Winning throw was 86.89 meters as he added another title to the NCAA Championship crown he won in June and Pan Am Games win in August. Vice President of the Grenada Athletics Association, Aaron Moses, says the dedication and discipline and the thirst for excellence in the discipline of javelin is what contributed to his continued successes.
Anderson, you have made all Grenada proud once again. Following in the footsteps of many who have gone before you, our first world champion was Aline Francique, who won the world indoors in 2004 and 2006. And then we had Kirani James in 2011. It seems that it's becoming a habit. And I hope that there are many more athletes in Grenada who are looking to emulate what you have done and what you have achieved.
A rather elated Minister of Sports, Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox, says Anderson's goal at Doha has lifted Grenada's profile on the world sporting calendar.
This is a very remarkable time for sports in Grenada. What has been happening over the past 2-3 years or so has really lifted Grenada's profile as a country in terms of our performance in sports. And Anderson's achievement as the world champion is another demonstration of that. And that success that we are experiencing is one as a result of collective work by all stakeholders to ensure that we get to that level. As government, I want to extend congratulations, and first maybe to say how grateful we are to the parents of Anderson.
Government, he says, will continue to invest in the youth of Grenada and work with stakeholders as 2020 is an important year on the sporting calendar for Grenada.
We have a number of persons already qualified for the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and we have 4 persons already qualified for the games, and other persons are working to ensure that they make it in. So that is important. I am seeing we have an opportunity to at least get 3 medals at the games. I think we can do it. We have to stand behind our athletes to ensure that they bring it home. So we'll be counting on Kirani, Lyndon, Kurt, and of course Anderson to ensure that we give them all the support that they need to continue to lift the profile of Grenada, lift the profile of our citizens. This is a real proud moment for us.
On exiting the arrival lounge, Anderson was greeted by his fans before being driven motorcade style to his training grounds at Lasaches, where a ceremony was held. It was at that juncture that parliamentary representative for the constituency, Honorable Oliver Joseph, made the announcement of the gift from government to Anderson Peters and his coach, Paul Phillip.
I want to take this opportunity as I'm here to announce that the government of Grenada has decided to award, to make a contribution both to the coach, the Paul Phillip, and to Mr. Anderson Peters. For the coach, the Paul Phillip, he will be given a parcel of land in St. David's for the construction of his house. And for Mr. Anderson Peters, he will also be given a portion of land in St. David's and cash money to help him with his studies. He's meeting later on in the week, so the cash amount will be announced shortly. But I tell you, he will be given cash, amount in cash, and a parcel of land. So Minister Ben Hosford, he will be moving back to St. David's.
St. David's Honorable Joseph says is proud of Anderson's achievements on the world stage, which is indeed a great achievement. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Did you join the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985 and have since retired? This might be important to you. Government understands that the NIS pension may be insufficient to take care of your needs. So, while it awaits the court's ruling on the matter of pension for public officers, government has taken action to protect your quality of life so that you can take care of your needs in the meantime. Persons who joined the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985 and serve continuously in an established position for a minimum 26 years and 8 months and retired at age 60 may be eligible to receive an advance payment, which when combined with NIS represents 70% of their last salary. For more information, call or visit the Pension Secretariat in the Department of Public Administration, Ministerial Complex, 440-3767.
Welcome back. Day one of the traffic diversion into Mount Morris went fairly okay, says Inspector Randall Batiste, officer in charge of Administration Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. Traffic was diverted through Mount Morris on Monday due to a land slippage issue at a section of the Western Main Road in Molyneux that resulted in its closure from Mount Morris Junction to the concrete road at Molyneux.
Taking into consideration, it was the commencement of that diversion of traffic through Mount Morris. However, we would have had officers in our strategic areas, different areas, to ensure we had a smooth flow of traffic. But between the hours of 7:30 to about 8:30, we had a very heavy flow, and at some time we had backlogs. And what would have contributed to that two-way road at Mount Morris, there are some narrow areas. So there are some areas where traffic cannot pass on both sides at the same time. So that would have contributed to some form of congestion. But we had officers in the area who would have managed it well. And moving forward to tomorrow, please God, what will happen? We will put officers in those areas that we'll have identified as the narrow areas with handheld radios, and we'll be communicating with each other to assist and regulate the traffic in a better way.
Certain areas of the road, Inspector Batiste says, will need to have erection of guardrails and potholes patched to make it safer for both motorists and pedestrians.
We also saw some in the same area where I'm speaking of the road being narrow that needs to be patched also, which can make things more accessible for the motoring public. And there are some areas there that's kind of dangerous in terms of there is no railing or so on the side of the road. So we definitely need to address that area to ensure that we keep that road safe, knowing that it will be a frequently used road now. We just want to remind motorists it is very important for us to comply with all the necessary traffic signs that along the diversion route. And let's remember to drive within the speed limit, knowing that the road is narrow, knowing that there are some dangerous areas. It is imperative of motorists to drive within the speed limit so you can make all the necessary adjustments just in case something happens.
As a consequence of the detour, the RGPF Traffic Department says no vehicles will be permitted to park along either side of Molyneux Public Road or Jones Road. And with that story, we come to the end of the National Report for Monday, December 16th, 2019. On behalf of the news production team, I am Sherry and Noel, thanking you for viewing.
Alrighty, folks, there you have it. That was last night's National Report. And I want to take a couple of moments here to make a few comments. First of all, John said here a little while ago in one of the reports in that GIS broadcast, somebody was referred to as Honorable Minister. And John says, now, there is an oxymoron. You know, John, I so identify with what you're saying, because something that has really bothered me over the years is that it seems like there's nothing fair about life. John, there are a lot of people walking the streets of this nation daily. You won't even take a second look at them. But these people are doing so much in their own little way for this country of theirs. You don't recognize them. You don't pay attention to them. Around independence, you may hear about certain awards, national awards being given to this one or that one, but that's a handful. Yet, John, the irony. You have a group of people sitting in a room down at the Botanical Gardens who almost on a daily basis bring your country into disrepute. They embarrass us. They hurt us. They're unjust to us. And we refer to them on a daily basis as honorable this and honorable that. Kind of hurts. Life's not fair. It bothers me. Honorable this, honorable that. In some cases, the right honorable. Then we move on, and Mama Mags has taken off. Mag says, wouldn't it have been better to sit at an angle as opposed to side by side? Such horrible optics. She's referring to the piece where the Indian ambassador or whatever was being interviewed. Okay, Mags, you wanted Sherry Ann to sit at an angle. Okay, well, before you take off after me, Mags, let me sit at an angle here. Now, do you mind? taking your advice. I know what you're talking about, so I'm going to sit at an angle, And by the way, you're talking about optics. I am really, really hoping that we will begin the new year with some new optics here on Grenada Broadcast. Been working feverishly at that. And so starting in January, when you sit on a weekday morning or Sundays to watch our programs, you'll be seeing some different optics. That's all I will say for the time being. Let me see here now. Veronica Sandy says it rained all night, Sir Anthony. Sonia Mathlin Scott saying, good morning, Gigi and all. Well, good morning to you too, Sonia. T.F. Richards says, Oliver is just laughable. T.F., would you believe my dad's name was Oliver? Every time I hear this guy's name mentioned, I can't help but chuckle. John says, good morning, Ray. What's your response to the Grenada under-15 cricket team's performance so far? Well, Ray is going to get to that in just a wee bit. And John Franco says, that was my question. Well, all right, Ray, saddle up and get ready. There he is. Actually, you're not seeing him yet, but he's there. John says, angles. That would mean 2 cameras. Do they have 2? Yes, John, I do believe I do believe that the GIS has more than 2 cameras. Oh, you smart aleck. And you got Margaret laughing her Twinkies off. Okay, I made some other little notes here. Hold on a sec. Let me see here. Okay, let's take a little break. Ray is there. Oh, by the way, Ryan lost us in Florida. Ryan, everything's going out fine here. You know, for the last little while, we've been having some really, really good internet service. You know what we went through earlier this year with all the breakups and everything? Well, we've been having some pretty darn good service from Digicel. And I see here that, hold on a minute, John was saying a little bit earlier on, Flow is doing its usual, so it keeps buffering big time. There's no point in shouting about it, as no one is listening. But they still want their money. Do like me. I hope you can avoid cable. I certainly do. Margaret says, yes, John, they have at least 2 cameras. They could have used one for the wide shot and then used the other for over-the-shoulder shots and close-ups. She knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's talking about. To do this program, we actually use 2 cameras. One, the one I'm looking at right now, is right in front of me. That's where the teleprompter is. And I also have one which I occasionally use on the iPad here. Just let me see if I can bring that up for a wee bit here and show to you. Da, 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 da. Yeah, there it is. That's the camera on the iPad that I'm looking at right now, okay? Let's take a little break, and then we'll, before I take a break, take a look. See, there he is. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. Just before he came on the air here, I saw him Bakes, caught him red-handed. He didn't know that I was looking at him, but I caught him red-handed. Mr. Ray Roberts and his bakes. Break time, we'll be back with Ray in a minute.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
Mm-mm. I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this.
Where you get that?
At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who's supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Christmas safety tips. Always unplug Christmas tree lights before leaving home or going to sleep. Check your tree lights and outdoor lights for damage each year before you use them. Discard lights with frayed wires, loose connections, and cracked sockets. Do not overload your wall outlets or extension cords. Remind children never to touch lights or outlets. Select lights appropriately. Never use indoor lights outside or vice versa. Happy holidays from Grenada.
Why wish upon a star? For bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
All right, folks, there he goes, Mr. Ray Roberts. Good morning to you, sir, and how are you?
Could not complete, George. Beautiful morning, lovely breeze blowing down this side. Certainly hope you can get a bit of it. And as you said, I did have a wonderful breakfast.
A wonderful, come on, man, spell it out. Bakes in your tail.
That's correct.
I'm just
with a bit of coconut.
Coconut. You could,
right.
You can tell I'm jealous, huh?
I didn't want to go that far. Next thing, I stimulate your appetite.
Next Tuesday, or the next time you're coming in here to do the program, walk with a coconut bakes for the guy now, huh?
That's the Christmas gift.
I see it's got you very relaxed, by the way. I notice how he's chilling out this morning.
I'm trying to clean up at the same time, too.
Okay.
I think it's Christmas. We're pretty close to Christmas.
Yeah, that's the thing about Christmas, boy.
I'm unpacking and packing back.
So tell me, Ray, what's up your sleeve this morning?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the roads, actually, in the country, but I will try to answer John's question because I think we all are fascinated by this young man. His name just disappeared from my mind, who scored 120 plus and then 82. Never seems unable to score a lot of runs in the under 15 tournament for Grenada. Grenada winning how many? Well, they have one more game to play, so they have won 4 matches and certainly going to win the championship. That's the under 15 team. So it's amazing that we have a young man who is scoring at that rate. I mean, sometimes you get a century and then you get, 10, 20, but he seems to have an appetite for getting a lot of runs. But this tournament is a very interesting tournament because there was a young Dominican who took 8 wickets for 7 runs. So I don't know if the batters were like you, George. so again, we have to wonder about the quality and I'm not trying to take away from him, but really and truly, I'm not too sure I'm going to put much on Caribbean cricket, except to say that I'm hoping that this young man, blossoms and really becomes a quality player. But let me say at the same time, West Indies beat India in India, which somewhat is unexpected because they beat India that bad. India scored 287 and they scored 291 for 2 wickets. In fact, the second highest partnership in West Indies history, 221 or thereabout, I think it is, between Shai Hope and Heckmeyer, was only second to Gordon Greenidge and Viv Richards. So it tells you that they were going really at a great gun. And the Indians, I don't think they anticipated that. So tomorrow night is the second one-day international. India has to win to stay alive. But I'm really amazed. In fact, I was spellbound sitting in front of that little box here, looking at the West Indies. Didn't look like they were going to lose a wicket, and just treating India as how they will treat Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm. So at least for the Christmas, for the New Year, I'm sure it's going to breathe new life into West Indies cricket if they beat India in that 3-match series.
Satisfied, John? So at least you guys have something positive to ponder over the holiday season.
That is correct.
All right.
Yes, and I did not go to the St. David's activity. I had other things to do, actually. But I certainly wish the young man well. I listened to him speak.
You're talking Anderson Peters?
Yes, speaks very well. Seems to have his head on. And doesn't sound very boastful. Sounds very, within himself. And next year is going to be a huge year for him. The ultimate of any athlete is to win a medal in the Olympics. There's nothing bigger than the Olympics. You win there, you're certainly going to be at least an opportunity to make money until you get older than me and you, George, because Nike and all these big guys come around. And I wish him well. I think he has the ability, and it does Grenada well, because Grenada is just after Trinidad, Jamaica. I'm just talking about the CARICOM area, to have won 2 gold medals at the World Championship. It's not very often. Except Jamaica that dominates sprints, and Trinidad to a lesser extent. Bahamas, I don't know of any other country that has really, in the last 8 years, done that well. And within the OECS, yes, St. Kitts will have won through the sprinter. Just can't remember his name. He's a great sprinter. But really and truly, we have to feel very proud as a small territory that we can compete at that level, because the people he defeated in Doha, the world champion was there, the Olympic champion was there also, as well as the best from Europe. So he wasn't beating people from the OECS. He was beating people from first world country, including the United States.
Just to digress here a little bit, you were talking about the Windies beating India in India. Kipling says, well, it's understandable. They're playing in India. They will do their best to get called up for the IPL. All the same, I wish them well.
Well, I think it's more than that. I think in the last 20 years, we have not won a series in India. So that's a lot of years. 20 years gone by. We used to beat India like we beat Zimbabwe. Viv Richards era, before Viv Richards era. India, really and truly, they're now catching up with the West Indies. And IPL is not just the major. India has a strong domestic program. The key to success is a strong domestic program. That's why I'm saying, when you listen, I listened to the St. Andrew cricket presentation on Saturday night. They brought it live on Facebook. Mm-hmm. The final game between Hermitage, where Devon Smith is from, and a team from Munich, that's Hamlet Mark area. They meet in the final, and Hermitage turned up with 7 players to start the match. That's the final. The winner gets $10,000. Something must be wrong with us. George. I mean, so Hermitage had to field first. So all Munich had to do is to play the ball into the open spaces. Scored enough runs and Hermitage couldn't make it because they had too few players on the field. In actual fact, one man bowling, one man keeping. So they had 5 players around a field that is what? Maybe what, 100 meters in width or whatever. But the point I'm making here, it tells you the interest and the state of the game in these islands. So I would hope that we are able to see a rebirth in 2020. I heard the minister making promises of offering more incentives to get people in general to play the game, but with a greater emphasis on young people, and also to have live broadcasts so people can again follow the sport as we did in the 60s and 70s and 80s and early 90s. We don't have that anymore. We just have reggae music or some kind of music. I don't know the language, so I can't tell you the name. Bra, 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 ta, 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 ta. Heaven knows. I don't play my radio on that. I don't care what anybody else thinks. It is nonsense. It makes no intelligent sense. So my radio don't play period on them kind of things.
I don't listen to it either, Ray, because like you, I cannot understand a single word they're saying or the logic. I just can't understand it. By the way, just sticking with Anderson for a minute here, John says, you know, Ray, let's hope the young man gets the proper support that's needed. By the way, I see he's getting a plot of land and some cash from the minister, from the government.
Well, what I liked about him is he seems more focused on his academics. I mean, a plot of land and some money, he will make 100 times that. So for me, those things are secondary. The word you use there, support. I remember at a sports award some time ago, Patrick Antoine made a very good delivery. He said to these young people, you got to get people who will stay with you in the rough and in the smooth, meaning the bad times, the good times. Spoke about identifying proper agents, proper public relations people to market you. I hope these are the things that we will certainly be able to communicate to him, because George, a lot of our young athletes, not just in Grenada, in the Caribbean, particularly in the small islands, I would say, because Jamaica and them are pretty advanced, Trinidad and so forth. They've been in it for a while. You know, there are a lot of crooks in this world. They look smart, they dress smartly, a lot of pretty women, just as crooked as just women. I hope that we're able to work with people like Anderson and Victor and Felix and all the other young Grenadians. Don't get caught in the U.S. market. Try to, they tell you they love you, make sure they say it once, twice, 3 times, 100 times. Then perhaps start to listen.
All right, that just about explains it. By the way, Ray, before we move on here, I got some other things to talk to you about, but it looks like there's been a little discussion about food going on here. A little while ago when we were talking about your bakes, your good partner in New York says, I wonder who make them bakes. Huh?
Well, I live alone, so if I live alone, I don't know. Maybe I would say it came from heaven and arrived on my table. But I live alone still.
Mags, I think Mags, I'm not sure, but I think Mags is going to be joining us here in Grenada sometime soon. We'll make arrangements for Mr. Roberts here to prepare some of his coconut bakes for you, Mags. You know, we can probably
Remember they sell it in shops, eh?
Pardon?
They sell these things in shops in Grenada. I know some people buy it and they put it in a bag and they say, that's what I made. They hot it in the oven and they bring it to you. You did a good job.
Absolutely.
But really and truly, they purchase it.
John says to Margaret, John knows that Margaret loves her food. And anybody who joins us on Make We Chat on a Thursday night, because you see Margaret eating constantly, eating.
Okay.
And you and I know Margaret is like that, eh? Very twiggy. So John says here, Margaret, you and your food are rarely parted. Can't do without each other. Now, Anthony de Riggs comes in here and he says, a good breakfast is coconut bakes, corned fish with onions in a little sweet oil, a slice of avocado, and washed down with a cup of cocoa tea. What say you, Rara?
Well, that's a lot of work. That fish, that cornfish, somebody has to do that. I'm promising this thing at all. In fact, George, I bought a bottle of Bop a week ago to kill one fly. Every time I sit to eat, that fly seems to come around. I try to chase it, so I bought a Bop, and I let him have as much as possible. I haven't seen him since.
Cruelty to animals, Ray.
I had no choice. He was interfering with what is precious. Seemingly, I can't even turn my eyes away. He's trying to get on to my food.
Yeah.
But I agree with Anthony. If somebody prepares it, I'll eat it.
Margaret says to Anthony, she says, now you're talking, Anthony. I'd substitute sweet oil for the coconut oil my grandmother and her generation used to make.
You'll get a lot of that now. It's $37 and $40 a bottle. You won't have to work for that. Tomorrow morning, in fact, the farmers have a farmers market. You get a variety of that there. I think it's by the Treat Center.
Yeah.
They have a good turnout. Pretty good. People go there and shop the hoteliers and so forth.
Margaret says, yeah, George, we're going to put him to the test on that bakes.
I wouldn't disappoint you.
And Ryan says, Johnny Bakes and coconut. Oh, gosh, you guys are making me hungry now. You know? Jeez.
All because of your eyes.
And Ryan agrees with you about the music on radio. He says it's gibberish. Margaret says, Ray, you kill a fly. Uncle Gary go get you.
Yeah. Nah. He's a good man.
All right, Ray, before we go, I want to talk to you about something I've been talking with my listeners about since last week. You know, this country has been through a hell of a lot over the last year. You know, we've all been through a tough time. And I think there's a great sense of frustration because it seems like so much of what you hear today is very negative. And so actually, I have to be honest with you, it was Margaret who came up with this idea. She says, you know, George, why don't you ask your viewers to tell you just one good thing that has happened to them in 2019? And starting tomorrow, actually, we're going to start sharing these with the audience. And I'm saying starting tomorrow, I'm being optimistic. I'm hoping, because for the last few days, I've been asking everybody, think of one good thing that's happened to you over the past year, and let's share it. You know, give Grenada some hope. And I want you to do the same so that when you join us here next week, Tuesday morning, you can say, hey, George, despite everything in this country, boy, something good has happened. You with us?
Yes, well, I never have any bad things. I have had a wonderful world. It's the greatest life that has existed. From an individual perspective, that's me. So I don't know that I have any other news but good news. I enjoy it. Next week, Tuesday, is Christmas Eve, George?
Yep.
All right. Well, I mean, I live to see that. I certainly have good news.
By the way, if you could think of one good thing right now, tell us, you know, hey, rather than waiting.
Well, George, look, let me put it this way. I've lost my mother this year, but let me put it this way. So that may be one of the things that you wish didn't happen.
Right.
But that will happen to each one of us. But George, getting up in the morning, go to the beach. I mean, I would say, 365 days in the year? I would have done it for about, I would say, minimum 280 days. George, 365 days in the year, I would have played tennis for a minimum of 300. George, I what? I would have missed church 3 times this year. I have not had any health problems this year. George, what can I complain about? What can I complain about? I don't even know when the month ends, actually. So I say, it's not that I have money. I enjoy life to the fullest. I say to my friends, I make some things recreation or be antagonistic to see what response I get. But I know when to end it at the same time. So George, it has been, for me, I am taking it on my own to say, I'm enjoying the blessed life. I don't know how people look at life, but I get up every morning in this house and the neighbors see me and ask me the question, you going to the beach again? I said, once life is there. So really, George, I've found it very interesting. And the more I read and the more I listen to literature that makes sense, let me put it this way, and some of it, we have a lot of it today that makes sense. But you listen sometimes to the elderly, and one of the things I would like to do more next year is to certainly visit homes for the age a lot more, because as I look around, I'm beginning to see people my age who I worked with. In fact, let me just tell you, Harrow, the steel band Panchuna, he died, he died. In any case, the son just sent me a WhatsApp saying his father died. Harrow, he was the first steel band panist or tuner in the ministry. I worked with him for a while. He lived in Bermuda. I remember when I went there, he was gracious to me and a couple of others. So may his soul rest in peace. But he was one of the people who really, I would say, pioneered what we have today as steel band tuners and in the organization of steel band. He really played a role. I could recall that in the late 70s, 80s in particular.
Right? You're right. We all have a lot to be thankful for, a lot. And it's important that we acknowledge those things and, speak out about them. Let me ask you this, as we head into the new year, what would you like to see most for Grenada?
Well, I would like to see more people be what they ought to be, not just silent observer and offering advice one-on-one, but what is right. Champion it, as you just said a while ago, champion the right things. I'm seeing too many wrong things, because it is popular and seemingly can get you on the stage, taking over. And I'm worried about that aspect of it more than anything else. Because, look, George, I look at the little bar in the Carnage there, and I ask myself every day, that would be perhaps acceptable Friday, Saturday and Sunday. But you see that thing on the Carnage there, Friday, TAMCC student, high school students, whatever GBSS, I'm talking about in Tantine there, going across. And the enticement is what? A beer. The enticement is to be like them. I'm asking myself, if my 16-year-old is enticed at that stage, what redemption there might be? Because that's a pretty young, on Wall Street on Saturday morning, we do a breakfast there. And George, I see some young people there. There's a young man. You could say maybe that's the son a parent would want to have, because he looks, as I would say, I don't like saying that word because everybody's pretty, but he looks pretty handsome. George, he comes with a pan of water and he washes his car, tires. You can see he's mentally deranged. I assume this from the cocaine and the drugs. There's nothing else, perhaps. There are many more. How do we... yes, to talk about opening homes. George, that's not going to solve it. We got to bring some discipline back in the country. Some areas must be told rum ought not to be sold there. There's a little bar by TAMCC there. The guy's my friend. I went there and somebody said, Ray, you want a beer? I said, God, I ain't going to drink nothing like that there. You see, these are my grandchildren. You mean I sitting with them? They call me Ray. Some of them call me Mr. Ray. And I know starting to drink with them at my age. Now, I am not saying they may be very well drinking, but why allow that? Is it all about money? Is it all about money and it has to be money? If we, the adults, don't see these things as bad precedent, George, then we're in trouble. All the talk about building resuscitation, rehabilitation, going down the drain, nobody's going there because we're encouraging it. We're encouraging it.
You know, one
I'm
of the
telling
things
you.
one of the things I find very ironic in this country is that while Grenada is on record as having one of the highest alcohol consumption rates in the world, I ain't talking Caribbean, I'm talking the world, we freely promote the sale of alcohol through our media.
Yes, but I just tell you, go on the Coronado on a Friday. There's a bar right opposite Rennick and Thompson. Big bar, rum, everything. Now, as I'm saying, I understand it maybe, but George, I'm telling you, I see it myself. The 10-year-old that come to buy 2 beers, you giving him that, you're taking the money. I'm saying it may happen still, but in the town, let's create fewer of that kind of business that is visible. And you see a George Grant like or Ray Roberts like sitting there. So it's a good thing. Nothing wrong, Mr. Ray, Mr. George, Mr. This. Look, they're doing it. So why am I not?
Yeah.
So, George, I'm saying, unless our state, our people, not only the government, because the people is, if people rebel, if the churches begin to say a little more, you know, a little more, you don't have to join no politics. And I myself have my own thoughts on politicians. I tell people I really want to serve people. I don't want to tag. In fact, as I said to someone, had we been in government, I don't know if I wanted the salary because then it make me corrupted to want more. No, so George, we had to begin to sense some of the things that we're promoting. I know some people are making a living from it. And yes, maybe we have to think about that too. But at what cost? Imagine there are, 1,400 students in TAMCC. Is it a good thing to have a bar with beer and rum? Is it a good thing for somebody to be passing? No, I would say tell the person, look, sell juices and hamburgers and fish and bakes and what have you. But George, we had to begin to tell people some of the things we're doing. There's a priest, let me tell you that, Father Levy. I remember him, he used to be in Guelph. Youth Quake, he might have been the pioneer of Youth Quake. And he was then moved from Guelph to Grenada. And one day he said to us, in Guelph, the people who were the influential people to the young people in sports and so forth, he said they all moved to affluent areas because academically and economically they have become strong and then they moved to an area. He said to them, if you don't go back to that community and do some work with these young people, they're going to come get you with your pit bull and your Rottweiler and your fence. They're going to come and be a nuisance to you. So the only way you could curb it, give time back to your community and try to school the generation that is coming up in some of the things that would perhaps make them the citizen that you are.
A little while ago, you were talking about that bar on the Carenage. Anthony DeRiggs says, Ray, I saw that bar you mentioned, and I was shocked to see the number of young boys and girls drinking alcoholic drinks.
I see, George. I was told recently, a couple of Sundays I drove around the Carenage, and they said to me, apparently there's a little on the rum runner going on Sundays. I don't know how true it is. I'm just telling you what somebody said to me. I didn't see any Sunday, which I say, but that has to be a shock. That's the week before Christmas. And somebody tell me the behavior pattern apparently forced whoever organizers are to put a lid on it. And I was happy to hear that because I see some things after that event. And I'm wondering, I know the police can't do everything, but you watch the kind of behavior, the flood of rum and whatever and nakedness, and you say to yourself, what product is this? Is this a product for tomorrow? You can't tell people how to dress, I guess, once they dress within the law. But the point I'm making, George, if this is the lesson for the younger ones, the 10-year and the 12-year, George, we are in a predicament destined to become one of the I don't know, one of the countries that we certainly would not want to be.
There's a note here from Ryan. He says, it seems like the churches in Grenada have lost their tongue.
Well, to me, everybody like going and toot a Bible in a building and make noise. That's what I call it these days. You know, I say that to some of my friends. I said, I'm not going to join anything. You invite me, I'm going to come. But I would certainly like to see, like when I was growing up, you had the community in Grenada being influenced in some way. There were homemakers. I'm not talking about reading the Bible every day. There were homemakers group. There were youth groups. There were singing group. There were all sorts of things. I don't see them things happening again. That's what I'm talking about. Use your influence. It doesn't have to have 1,000 people, but do something that would create an impression. At Christmas, I mean, it was, let's call it this way, a must. There's a concert. The only concert I'm hearing is either Wagiti making noise or Joda making noise or some thing that has no cultural values. I mean, Margaret, I just listened to TV, but there's something, what, at the Carnegie Hall or wherever that is in the United States, and they continue a Christmas tradition. George, I have not heard a carol singing group. Well, Shoma may have had in Tantine, so I have to go to this. But they used to come around. Nothing wrong in a tradition, fostering and pushing a tradition like that. Yes, the world has changed, people have changed. But aren't there traditions that still got value and should be continued? We could perhaps stop play cricket and turn to American basketball because that's the big thing. But look, Australia, cricket has a value. India, Gavaskar says, the great Gavaskar says, you open any window in your house, there's a kid playing cricket on that side, on this side, that's east, west, north, and south. Maybe they could turn to smoking cocaine. Or do you smoke it or you take it? I don't know, because I would never take drugs.
Your partner, Margaret, says, Ray, you touched on a key point about the more educated and affluent moving away from their original community and leaving those areas bereft of role models. But that is a whole other discussion.
All right. And I hope one of these days you stimulate it with some of your guests and see what answer you get. Because, George, I think some of us, I don't want to say, I'll say everybody, assuming that they may be economically and academically where they are, maybe you should ask a lot more. Why aren't we taking time off and do something small in villages that perhaps we can attempt to make a difference in? So many villages.
Maria St. Bernard says, I think that discipline needs to be returned to uphold some morals. When I was a youth in Grenada, we were taught right from wrong, and alcoholism was definitely not accepted.
Well, the mothers know our paps, and well, women drinking more than men now. So, Ms. St. Bernard, that's where your challenge is. That's where the challenge is. And as I said, when you have this open bar next door to a school and so forth, well, George, what you're telling the 14-year-old, it looks good. I mean, I tried a cigarette once, and I coughed for about 2 hours. Never went back in my mouth. Because to me, the guys who brought this thing, the smoke came through their nose, nostril. I wanted to experiment, but I never got anywhere with that. So I'm saying these things when you're a kid, it seems the thing to do. I mean, knocking a glass with some ice. I don't know. My sister brought me a bottle of scotch from England in 2012. It's still there, waiting on her to come back again.
T.F. Richards is asking, Ray, were you talking about DJ Hoffman's father?
Yes, that's correct. Harold, who is now in Canada, his father I'm talking about.
Okay. All right, folks, 15 minutes after the hour. Ray. As always, stimulating stuff, bro. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, George. And the next time I know not to eat for your eyes to see.
TF says DJ Harrow.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's correct.
Okay. Ray, listen, man, anytime you have bakes, please, don't even think about hiding it from me. Hey, don't even think about it. Bakes or lambi, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah? Please.
Well, once you don't stay it for Margaret to hear, then I can let you know.
Is it possible to hide anything from Margaret, Ray?
Let's try.
Let's try. Let's try. By the way, have you written to Santa Claus yet? What did you ask Santa Claus for?
Well, George, I am trying not to get back into the Christmas ham. Last year I ate a little too much and my blood pressure went up. Because you see, I can't get anybody to play tennis with on Boxing Day. So I want to eat and then go and take a knock to sweat it out. But George, so I'm not bothered, but I'm going to buy it, I believe.
All right. Take care, my friend, and happy holidays to you.
God bless, man. All the best to you and your viewers.
All right. Ray Roberts on a Tuesday morning, stimulating as always, my dear friends. And on that note, we're going to pull the curtain down. Let's see. Ryan says, Maria, that was the best generation. Now, right is wrong and wrong is right, in the absence of moral leadership. And that's where it lies, moral leadership. Okay, folks. Parting word from the Holy Scriptures on this Tuesday morning. They come to you from the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verses 16 to 20. It says, wash your hands and make yourselves clean. Take your evil deeds out of my sight. Stop doing wrong. Learn to do right. Seek justice. Defend the oppressed. Take up the cause of the fatherless. Plead the case of the widow. Come now. Let us settle the matter, says the Lord. Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they are red as crimson, they shall be like wool. If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good things of the land. But if you resist and rebel, you will be devoured by the sword. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken. Isaiah chapter 1, 16 to 20. Okay, yeah. Okay, folks, that's going to do it on this Tuesday morning. I certainly hope that you learned something here today. And get ready, tomorrow morning, come into class, yaman. We're going to hear some really positive things, I'm hoping. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Or I'll have to soup Margaret on you guys. God bless you, my dear friends. See you tomorrow.